Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody inside and outside the ballpark. My name is NovedPlayer, and welcome to episode 63 of the Noved Notes podcast, where we talk to many different creators and communities inside the platform. As I said, I'm your host. I can't do my own intro right, apparently, but with me today, I have a jack of all trades when it comes to world creation, film creation, content creation, real life asset creation. We have NanobunTV.
Hi.
Welcome on, Nano. Hope you're doing well.
Maybe. I'm very sad this is the 63rd episode. Damn it. Almost a stack of episodes. I was just playing Minecraft earlier today. Almost there. You've almost got a stack of episodes. On the 64th episode, you gotta have some sort of Minecraft theme, or just even a reference.
Fair, you know
just
what?
Just because, you have a stack of 64.
For sure. I'll see what I can
just
do
a little edit of like the Noved Notes logo, but like in a Minecraft hotbar or something. I don't know. But why am I talking about that? This isn't episode 64. This is episode 63.
Yeah. Scout, get on that. We're gonna make an art. I'm gonna send this clip over to my artist and we'll see what he can do. But anyways, welcome on. I was say, for the general listening audience, what exactly do you do in and outside of VRChat?
Oh boy. Okay, there's a reason that I pulled up my list here. I've actually, in my notes app, made a list called "The Things Nano Does," end quote, because I actually had to write down all the different things that I do, because jack of all trades, master of maybe a few is definitely an understatement. I just genuinely can't even remember all the things that oh, the camera's down there now. Hi! Oh, there goes my hip. Viewers, expect here the thing that I'm gonna steal from my show, which I stole from another show. Audio listeners, love you to death. My hip tracker is gonna float off into space repeatedly. So if I just go woo, then that's normal. That's normal. I'm not just like doing. I'm not doing the. Oh, there it goes. I'm not just doing the. It reminds me of the really old GIF of the stormtrooper like air humping. You know, that one.
Oh, God.
I'm not doing that, I promise. So let me be clear. So all the random bullshit that I do, I stream on Twitch a lot. I'm back to actually making main channel videos on YouTube once again. That just started like a couple weeks ago. Finally got an editor for main channel videos, so I'm excited about that. And then what else? In the VRChat space, I've made some avatars, a lot for myself, a couple public avatars here and there. I've made some worlds, like a horror map, a Mario Kart world, a very popular chill world, and I think a couple other little side projects here and there. And then what else is there? Let me just go down the list. Video editor, I've edited videos for a bunch of people, including myself, like back when, if you know Echo VR, the black and white cat, I've made all their YouTube videos back when they were still doing YouTube stuff. What else on the list? Rapid fire. I have my own podcast, which he's gonna be on soon. Stay tuned for that. Hold on, wait, I can do, where's the button? Let me pull up. I have this prepared. This! There it is! Wow! There's the show. F3B podcast. Final 3 Brain Cells podcast.
It's a little bright on the post-processing side, but we'll throw the logo as well.
It is. In some worlds, it's just a flashbang. It's so funny. By design. I'm also a part of the, let me put this up on screen too, little flashbang there, part of the VTuber stream team Nakama Vibes right here, which you can find at nakamavibes.com, right there. Big team of VTubers, we all do a bunch of streaming things all the time, and that's a lot of fun. Very passionate about that, and I also call myself the marketing person, kind of, for Nakama. I do the tweets sometimes. What else? Oh, I'm also on the media team for Project Community, just like how you're on the team for PGKT2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the, hold on, I got the pin right there. There we go. Where's the pin? I think right there. There's the pin.
Up on your hat.
And then I've got there too. Yeah. I got both. Can we get the close-up camera for that? I have the little badge hanging from my hat.
There you go.
Right there. There it is.
Close enough.
Yeah. It's fun. I think it's a fun spot to put it. Did I click that by accident? No, I didn't. Okay. What else? Two other things. Two other things that I can remember at least. I can't even remember to put all the things on this list, but I'm a 3D printing hobbyist and seller, so I do selling of like a bunch of 3D printed stuff, like for example, another one, another pop-up ad, like these VRChat name tags, but real. This confused a lot of people at the last PJKT. They were like, real product being sold in VRChat? Yes, real product, real thing.
I might have to get the PNG versions
tags.
of those for the screen, because it's a flashbang with the VSE lens post processing.
Of course. It looks good on my camera, but I can't imagine what it looks like in yours.
Yeah, it's good old post processing in real time.
Woo! Of course. And I'm also a bit of a small business owner too. I do selling of like stickers, and a few other little 3D prints here and there of random things, and also like old media. I do like commissions for the most recent thing I've been doing is commissions for like putting videos or audio that people want onto like DVDs, which there's a market for. Putting stuff onto VHS tapes. There's actually a market for that, surprisingly. Some people just want like modern day videos recorded onto a VHS tape, I guess, surprisingly. And then also the latest one, which is floppy disks. In fact, I have a stack of 40 floppy disks sitting right next to me. I've got one right here.
Fair enough.
They're just sitting on my desk. So that's the list. Bunch of things.
Definitely a long list to say the least.
Take notes. This is gonna be on the test. There's going to be a test at the end of the episode, so be prepared. There's going to be a Google form in the description. No.
Man, that's crazy.
You're going to get quizzed.
That's crazy. You know what? We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Anyway,
what was the 7th letter of the 3rd thing in the list?
Yeah, right. Oh no. Well,
I'll give you a hint. It was C.
Wait.
Oh wait, that's just the answer. That's not how a hint works. Shit. Damn it. Okay.
Well, first and foremost, that's an amazing list to say the least. So I guess one of the first things I want to ask, what kind of got you into VRChat in the first place? What kind of brought you into this metaverse?
Probably Jameski. As with a lot of people, probably just good old Jameski VRChat in a nutshell videos. Also, I got my original Vive because Half-Life Alyx was coming. Actually, no, it was because FNAF VR was announced. And I was really huge into FNAF at the time. I got big into FNAF like around the time Ultimate Custom Night came out, so I was kind of a late bloomer into that. But FNAF VR getting announced, which great game still to this day. I think FNAF VR is like still one of the best FNAF games. And even the second one too. It's good. But that was kind of when I got into VR was that, and then I think maybe a year later I decided, like right at the start of COVID kind of, but not because of COVID. I've been locked up in my own house by choice for like most of my life, homeschooled and all of that. So I didn't hop on VRChat because of COVID, but it was that time, coincidentally. But that and pretty much, yeah, just kind of introduced to it by good old Jameski. I'd like to maybe meet him someday. Give him it might be awkward, but I might give him like a, hey, thanks, you got me into this silly little place that I call home.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people would love to have that opportunity just to say thank you to their inspiration coming into VR.
He's a cool guy. I'm glad he's still doing VRChat stuff too. It's cool to see the occasional VRChat upload.
No, absolutely. So I guess kind of to dive into this extensive list, say,
Mm-hmm.
first and foremost, with we'll go into some of the worlds you produced, because obviously there's been a few, because
Mm-hmm.
you have the more notable ones like the cozy 90s style bar, the Mario Kart RCM. So first and foremost, what kind of made you want to create these worlds, and kind of go into the realms of world creation?
Ooh, I might pull out an exclusive just for your show here. I might pull out something very, very old just for a second, which is the first avatar that I used, that I uploaded myself. I never pull this out for anyone, but I might just because I'm feeling like it today. I got into doing the Unity side of creating and uploading things to VRChat, as actually a meme avatar creator, but I didn't do it for stream or for video purposes. I just did it for fun, to get laughs out of people in like Murder 2 lobbies. Pretty much exclusively Murder 2 lobbies. That's all. That's the only damn thing I played. Um, but yeah, I was doing meme avatars for a while. I still have them all uploaded. They're all 3.0 still, so they probably do work. But I haven't used them in ages. I don't even know how they work myself. I'm pretty sure it's just in the toggles menu, but let's see if this loads. I'll pull it up for a second, and then I'm gonna get the furry allegations immediately. But oh, there we go. God, I've not seen these hands in ages. Hi.
Oh my lord.
Holy shit, this is crazy. That's where like the rainbow tie here's come from, and then the blue pants became like the blue suit, and then the bunny part has always been a thing. I'm getting out of this now because I don't feel uncomfortable in it, but it's just like, wow, that was a different time. So yeah, I used a bunny Nanachi at the time, and that's kind of how I started with the avatar creation stuff, and then I moved over into world creation. Made my first world was just a home world based on the old VRChat home world, the one before, the one right when there was actually a home world and a hub world. Right before they got rid of the hub world and just made it only a home world, like the one we have now, where it's just home world and there is no hub world. Um, Back when the home world was actually released as an SDK feature, where it's like, hey, here's the assets for the home world, you can make your own. So I made just one of those as my home world, and then immediately afterwards, I jumped into like, okay, I made a home world. Now I'm gonna make a whole horror map with no experience whatsoever. So I did that, and that was like one of my proudest creations. I like completely left VRChat and left like everything for 3 months straight, disappeared off the face of the planet to make a horror map for VRChat, and then I came back and I'm like, hey guys, sorry you missed me. Anyways, here's a whole entire horror map that I spent the whole 3 months of summer making, with no prior experience. So yeah, that's the SCP Containment Breach of VR, which is, it uses the assets from SCP Secret Lab. A lot of people have been like, oh, this looks familiar because it's the assets from Secret Lab, but it plays like Containment Breach. And to this day, it still gets players. I think it has like, how many visits does it have now? It's just about to hit 250,000. So that's really awesome. And that was a couple years ago now. That was like summer of 2021. Wow. It's been a while now. So, and then after that, I made the cozy 90s style bar, which is a world now with 850,000 visits. That's gonna hit 1 million visits. But the cozy 90s style bar, I'm sure that there's, if anyone in the who's watching right now actually goes ahead and is on VRChat, you've probably been to the world at one point, given that it has like 800,000 visits. So, yeah, that's a world that I still like kind of chip away at here and there. From time to time, I'll like add a little feature here, a little feature there. Like, I think the most recent little feature I added was like a little floppy disk sitting on the table over here, and like a little RC car there. Just little things. And what worlds were after that? I made a few little side ones, like I made a world that's kind of like the ship from Sea of Thieves. I made what else? A lot of these are actually private. I made the one that you mentioned, which was the Mario Kart world, which was a world that I worked on really early on in like 2022, and I couldn't get the networking to work correctly. There was huge desync problems. I shelved it permanently. I came back to it 2 years later and was like, okay, I'm gonna copy all the working stuff into a brand new project. I'm gonna nuke the old stuff, and I'm gonna make it work this time. And then I made it work. With like a 2 year gap in the middle there. I chipped away at it, I bug tested it, I worked on it some more, bug tested it again, stress tested it with some friends, bug fixed it some more, stress tested it again, then I released it, never touched it again. I'm like, okay, I'm releasing it. I think all the bugs are fixed. If there's any more bugs, I'm just not touching it. It's spaghetti code, and I'm stepping away. But yeah, that's a Mario Kart RCM. Not been taken down by Nintendo yet. Hopefully it never will, but maybe someday. Who knows? But I don't care. It was fun to work on. Definitely much less. Yeah, knock on wood. Much less popular world. Only 3,700 visits on that one.
But no, I mean that's really awesome. The fact that you've made so many different types of worlds and so many different aesthetics, and it's not easy to say the least. When it comes to world side, especially like you were saying with the Mario Kart one, with like the network syncing and everything.
Yeah. There's a reason that the SCP world has no networking. It is all client side. Like if you open a door, it's only even open on your end. Even something as simple as a door, I'm like, nope. It opens on your end only. Everyone else has to open the door themselves. Didn't even bother with networking on that one because I already knew it was a nightmare. I already spent 3 months on it. I was not going to spend more time networking it. If anyone does game dev stuff or any sort of programming at all, and it involves syncing things between players, you'll know it's hell. It sucks. Having to sync things between players over the internet is terrible. I know, like Into the Radius 2, which is a game I'm really excited about. It's in early access right now, and it even has multiplayer support. For everything on the host's end, works fine. But for any of the joiners, any of the other players, it's a buggy mess. Just because networking sucks.
Yeah, it's definitely a different breed, to say the least.
Surely.
But yeah, so I guess kind of to go on from that a little bit, because you kind of already answered pretty much all the questions I had on that front. So I guess, because it's been a little bit since you've had a recent world upload, have you ever thought of making like more worlds, like, to kind of come back and to do a little bit more worlds?
It just depends on if I have a really good idea. Everything that I work on is all based on, and if there's a pause in something, it's because of the lack of an idea, and if something exists, is because I had just a spark of an idea. One of the powers of ADHD, among many other downsides, severe type of ADHD. It's fun. Need meds for it and everything. And yet it still only helps so much. But if a spark appears, I will chip away at it for like 3 days straight or something, or like a week straight, or maybe like 2 weeks straight if I'm lucky. And then I'll finish it, I'll publish it, and then I'll just shelf it immediately. Like, okay, it's up now, it's there, and I'm like done with it. Like I'll do a little bit of marketing and then it's done. Done. Not touching it ever again. Like for a while I wanted to do something relating to a Titanic world because when I was younger I had just this hyperfixation. Another thing that comes with the territory of ADHD is having random hyperfixations that last for like weeks or months on end. So I was really fascinated with the Titanic, and also the sinking of it. So I made a world that honestly, I don't know why I haven't even published this. I could just click publish right now, which is just one of the iconic rooms of the Titanic, and then there's a button that you can click, and it actually simulates the sinking of that room. It's not the whole ship, but it's just like one room. Like the furniture even floats upwards, and the lights start to flicker and stuff, which was fun to work on. There's no water physics. I had to manually keyframe the floating of the chairs, like, and the furniture upwards, which was like really annoying if you know anything about animating stuff. I had to just manually animate all of, like, the floating, because I'm not going to do like physics systems and stuff. That would just be expensive and annoying as all hell. But I just this very second I just uploaded the world right now. If you want to go find it, go to my profile on VRChat or just search Titanic D deck, and you can probably find it.
We'll throw a picture of the
just
thumbnail
a cool
up on
little
screen.
world. Yeah, we'll put a link there, or a screenshot there. Just a cool little world to finally feed my hyperfixation from when I was like 10 about the Titanic. So yeah, once again, just worlds I work on and stuff. It just all depends on like having a spark for an idea, as with most of the things that I do to this day. Such as probably whatever you're going to transition into next.
True.
To talk about.
Well, yeah, so kind of to go into the content creation side of things, what kind of inspired you to make content, like videos and, all the other types of content you've been making, like streaming and stuff?
Just the collective of everything that I've watched online. I can't even pinpoint to one specific content creator, because I've just watched so many different genres of content, from gaming to documentaries to commentary to just anything under the sun. I've kind of watched every single genre of like video online, to some degree, some more than others, and I've also watched plenty of live streams and just consumed so much content that I can't even pinpoint anything, but it's kind of the collective of the wonderful magic and sometimes horrible downsides of the internet as a whole. Has kind of shaped my interest in doing stuff on the internet. I'm like, wow, the internet's cool. I'm going to do stuff on here. Also, just being home like most of my life. I've been homeschooled except for like maybe like 5th and 6th grade. I think I went to actual like elementary school. But other than that, I've always been cooped up in my house by choice. I definitely think I'm the type of person that's benefited from it. It's not for everyone. Some people have a negative outcome from it, but for me, it worked out really well. But then there's like still 2 years of school that I had in there where I actually got to experience what school is like and find out it wasn't for me. So when you spend that much time at home, you're probably going to spend a lot of time on the internet, and that can shape a lot of people into something not great. But for me, it worked out for the best, just because how my brain chemistry is, and that's kind of just how creation stuff for me happened. It was just the collective of everything, the right place and the right time and the right combination of everything and the right brain chemicals. I say that a lot. I mention the brain chemicals a lot.
No, fair. I would say it's definitely crazy how many, because if you really think about it, right? Twitch is a huge platform, YouTube's a huge platform. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that there's to get inspiration from. Obviously you have your bigger YouTubers, you have your bigger streamers. I guess nowadays you have your bigger shorts content creators. Obviously shorts weren't that big back then, but even now, like, there's shorts creators out there who are inspiring, hundreds of people to make content and do whatever the case may be. Kind of to go into the content side a little bit. So you actually did produce a short film, a VRChat short film, which was Papers, Please. So what kind of made you want to create a short film in VRChat?
So it was actually the announcement of the VRCon Film Festival for, I believe, VRCon 2021, I'm pretty sure, or maybe it was 2022. Whatever was the first VRCon, I'm pretty sure it was 2021. The announcement that there was going to be a film festival, between that and the submission deadline was the entire production timeline for Papers, Please, and that was half of the catalyst. The other half was the fact that Markiplier was in lockdown and decided to play Papers, Please, which reminded me Oh yeah, Papers, Please exists because it had kind of left my mind for a while. It was a game that I really, really liked and knew about previously and had already watched a bunch of YouTubers play previously. But it kind of left my consciousness for a while until he just so happened to be playing it right at the time that that film festival was announced. And I'd never thought about making a VRChat film anytime before then. I had seen the Papers, Please short film. A while before then as well. Like back when I was interested in the game, I also watched the short film, and it all left my mind, and then it came back to me. So my film is just a scene-for-scene recreation of the live-action Papers, Please short film. It's about 10 minutes long, 10 and a half minutes, 11 minutes if you include the credits, whatever. And it's a scene-for-scene recreation of that. All the audio is in Russian, but other than the audio, everything else was me. So like the cinematography, the camera angles, the actors, even when there's 2 or even 3 people on screen, it's all me. Every single person on screen is me. That's a bit of editing magic, and it was a little bit difficult to do all of that, but in the end it worked out pretty well, and I'm happy with it. Still to this day, it's definitely a piece of content that I'm really proud of. I'm sure you'll have like a couple snippets here on screen. You're free to use a couple snippets here and there of like
You already know my
to give
editing style.
examples. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But
One thing I always like to mention about the Papers, Please, I will add, is in the end credits, it says approximately 1 nanobun was harmed in the making of the short film, which is true. I got a little bit, maybe not bruised, but was definitely aching by the end of one of the last few scenes because there's an explosion scene, and during that explosion scene, which you're probably seeing right now, I had to act as 2 people pretending they were blasted to the side. So one of the characters was sitting in a chair, so I had to kind of fall out of the chair, and I had to do that take like 50 times to get it right. And then I had to go act the other person who was standing up and act their scene like 50 times as well, where they're standing up and having to fall over. So that was definitely 1 nanobun being harmed in the making of the film to some degree, but in the end I think it was a really fun project. I once went up on stage during the 2nd or 3rd showing because it has been Papers, Please has been shown at 3 short films now. You can see it in the YouTube thumbnail. There's actually the little like badge for all 3 of the short film festivals that it's been shown at, and one of them I actually had the opportunity to go up on stage for like 50 minutes and give a nice talk about it. And it wasn't recorded, sadly, but whatever the fuck I was talking about during that was like really meaningful, and I really enjoyed talking about it, and I can't for the life of me remember. But it was just like a very passionate project for me, and I had a really strict deadline because not only did I have to make the whole film between like point A, the starting point was the film festival being announced, and the like the end points that I had to get it done by was the submission deadline. And additionally, I actually had my cutoff point was 2 weeks before the submission deadline because my index controllers were on their last leg. So with broken index controllers, I had to film the whole short film, and then I had to RMA my controllers with like 1 day left before the warranty ended. I had to RMA them. Like, okay, I got the last scene recorded. I'm putting my controllers in a box and I'm shipping them off like that day that I finished like the last scene. And I'm like, I really hope I didn't forget to record a scene. I hope I got them all. I did. I didn't have to go re-record anything, thankfully. I did enough takes in advance. And those controllers went in a box. They got shipped off to Valve and I got new controllers. But that was definitely really interesting to have that super strict deadline. And that was pre-medicated nano. So that was like just full on ADHD hyperfixation for like a week or 2, managing to somehow get through that whole project, and I'm still really proud of it.
No, fair. I mean, yeah, once a passion project goes full force, it goes full force, to say the least. It's an unstoppable being at that point. It's It's kind of crazy to think
Unless
about.
my index controllers explode, then
True.
that's definitely a stopping point. That would stop
right.
it.
Yeah, valid. No, that's fair. Well, yeah, that's what's up. So, kind of to stray off the content creation side for a little bit, something that I feel like not a lot of people know when it comes to yourself. What kind of gave you the inspiration of NanobunTV? Like, what kind of sparked, the character design? What, essentially behind Nanobun.
Let me pull out one other avatar that I also never pull out anymore, which is a great example of how things evolved into here, because I already showed the Nanachi, which was where the bunny aspect came from, as well as the rainbow scarf became, well, the white hair stayed, the rainbow scarf became a rainbow tie, and the blue, like, pants became a blue suit. But from there, really, I wanted to move from the Nanachi and move to a more humanoid avatar, so I went ahead and made, and I'm just going to pull up, I'm not going to pull out the very, very first version, but I'll pull out the latest version before I switch to the female model here, which was, if I can find it, here, Nanobun 4.0, there we go, this one. So this is the Neige, Neige, which is another booth model that I spent many, many years in before I switched to the model I'm in nowadays. Give it a second to load. I haven't loaded it in ages, so it's server processing. It's queued right now. There we go. This model. And I spent a lot of time in this model. Has it loaded yet?
Yep, you're good.
Yeah, so this, I kind of just, the suit was another outfit that was just included along with the default outfit, and I was working on a friend's avatar at the time who was also using the Neige. They didn't do their own Unity yet, they do now, but they didn't do their own Unity at the time, so I was doing a couple edits to their avatar for them, and I didn't have an avatar to really call my own other than the Nanachi. So I went ahead and was like, hey, I see this suit version in the files here. Would you mind if I made this other outfit into like my own avatar? And they're like, yeah, knock yourself out. So I made the suit version, and the first iteration was a blue suit, had a rainbow tie, had the white hair, green eyes, which I know my eyes are like rainbow colored right now, but canonically the eyes are green. There was no top hat, and there is stream archives of like 1 or 2 Twitch streams during that transition phase. I think they're privated, but they still exist, where like I think my first ever Twitch stream was in the Nanachi avatar. The second one was partially in the Nanachi and partially in the top hat-less version of this, and then like the third stream, top hat was on and stayed on for the rest of time. But there was a little bit of transition period there where I didn't exactly know what I was going for with my character design, and I was kind of just making it up as I go. So from there, the rest is kind of history. And for me, it was between a top hat and a white top hat and a white fedora, and I think the top hat was definitely the better option because I didn't know at the time, but there's the whole stereotype with fedoras and Redditors, and that's kind of stupid. So I think the top hat in the end worked out pretty well, and yeah, from there the rest is history. I just kind of like the look of top hats a little bit, and now it's kind of become my whole shtick. So yeah, from there there were iterations. From there there were iterations. Just to quickly say that the Nanobun then had like the broken arm, as you saw there for a second. There was like the robotic arm, and then now this version, which is still a robot. If you look at my hands, there's like some circuitry and stuff there, and on my face too. But and some like flashing bits here and there. But that's kind of the whole character design. It was just me throwing stuff at the wall, really, until I found something I was comfortable with. And as for the name, because I guess I should mention the name, it actually, my username is based on that other friend's name, where I kind of stole their avatar a little bit, but also they said it was fine. I also thought of the Bun TV part of my name is not necessarily originally mine. My other friend, their username was a different word followed by BunTV, like blank BunTV. And I thought to myself when I was doing a rebrand, because my username previously sucked. It was like a really generic kind of Xbox gamer kind of name, and I was like, oh yeah, NanobunTV. Except my username used to actually be my first name. It was first name BunTV, but I just pretend that doesn't exist now. NanobunTV, whatever. But at the time I was like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. And then I remembered, oh, that's where the idea is from. I'm literally stealing it from that friend. So then I asked them, and I was like, hey, would it be fine if I rebranded to having like Bun TV at the end of my name? And they were also fine with that. They have now outgrown that, and they have completely changed their username. And I've still stuck with the Bun TV part. So I guess my name has outlived theirs now. But not a lot of originality. I will admit, I'm not the most original person. A lot of sparks come from inspiration from other things, and then I kind of just make them into my own. But I'm perfectly willing to admit that I'm not always the most original person. But I always try to switch things up enough to say that it is like kind of my own thing to some degree. So that's kind of where the name and the whole branding came from. Was throwing stuff at the wall and then just a little inspiration here and there, or quote unquote stealing sometimes, but and then switching it up.
No, that's fair. I mean, there's inspiration in every piece of art in content, no matter, how original it is. There's always going to be something that has some type of inspiration from it. Hello everyone, real quick, just want to pause the episode right here. If you're enjoying what you're listening to, feel free to click that subscribe button down below. As of right now on the YouTube side, over 80% of the viewers are not currently subscribed. Just click that button right down below. But in all seriousness, if you want to support the podcast, feel free to join the VRC group at noved.6608. I'm going to be announcing some amazing events upcoming in the next couple months. I'm super excited to, get those underway. But of course, I do want to thank some of the supporters. For our monthly tippers, we have Sash Lilik and Lion Turtle. And for our supporters this time around, we have Elitament. So thank you all so much for supporting the podcast. And of course, if you join the VRC group, it does have options to subscribe on a monthly basis if you'd like. If not, just feel free to click that subscribe button. That enough means the world to me. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. And let's get back into the episode. Woo! But no, that's really cool. And obviously, back into the content creation side, you do have, your Twitch channel as well, where you do streams every now and then. It's so, I guess, kind of one of the questions in that regard, obviously doing YouTube and doing Twitch are two separate beasts. Is there a preferred platform that you prefer doing content on, or is it just kind of whatever the wind says?
I think the perfect mix that I found definitely. I used to be very YouTube centric and was YouTube first and foremost, and Twitch was not only an afterthought but kind of thrown out the window entirely. I was definitely a YouTube creator back in the day. I even when I was really young. I think I started doing Minecraft YouTube videos when I was 12. I'm now 19. So I've been in the space for a long time. Was not good at it back then. I'd say I'm good now. Not to toot my own horn, but I would definitely say nowadays I would consider Twitch first and foremost, and then I use YouTube as a canvas to have the Twitch stuff edited down into a video and then uploaded in a more refined format with some of the dead zones cut out to compare myself to another content creator. I would say the closest comparison I can draw would be the current video style of Call Me Carson videos on his Call Me Carson live channel, which is literally just that, a stream cut down into a video. with a little bit of added flair added in there, a little bit of editing here and there, but still mostly just the stream refined. But I would consider Twitch first and foremost, and then YouTube from there. And then there's also Shorts, just because Shorts are another good outlet to get viewers back into Twitch. I kind of do use YouTube a little bit as well, of like, kind of, hey, here's the video, come over to the Twitch channel. I know a lot of people do that. That's a pretty standard practice. But I've been enjoying Twitch streaming for a long time now, and it has been really fulfilling. Sometimes I'll have times where it's less fulfilling, but then I'll get a spark of an idea again, and I'm like reinvigorated. Recently, I will say that I've had a new idea that I'm going to be milking until I get bored of it, of a new gimmick for some streams of playing games that shouldn't be played on this console, but playing them on this console anyways. You know the Wii U?
Yep.
I did a stream recently where I played Five Nights at Freddy's on the Wii U. Makes no sense, but
no, it does not.
I did it. And then I played Ultimate Custom Night on the Wii U, and I think I'm the first person ever to beat one of the challenge modes, Bears Attack 1, the first challenge mode in Ultimate Custom Night, on a Wii U. And then from there, I think just last week, I also did a stream that was playing SCP Secret Lab on the Wii U, and that was an interesting experience. And there's probably going to be a video on my channel very soon, probably within the next week or two from when you guys are watching this, of the FNAF video, and then probably the Secret Lab one afterwards. And I'm going to be continuing this trend of playing games that don't make any sense to be played on this console, but played on the console. Also the 3DS. I'm going to leak that one right now. The 3DS is also a console that makes no sense to play some games on, but let's consider, maybe I'll leak the fact that maybe I'll be playing Deltarune Chapter 2 on the 3DS at some point in the near future. You'll just have to wait and see. Some really stupid stuff like that. So I like to have these gimmicks sometimes. Sometimes there's not enough gimmicks to go around, and I'll just do some standard gameplay streams. But I always try to throw my own flair into it and my own commentary and try to make it very interesting. My streams are always a mix of like chaotic and chill at the same time. And then my hip tracker floating into space again and again. Stop that! Stop it!
No, it's all good. Well, that's really cool. I never thought about trying games on like incorrect like platforms, like consoles. That's a very interesting concept to say the least. But yeah, definitely make sure to go check out the channel and all that. We'll throw all the links down in the description. But yeah, so I guess because there's so many different types of content when it comes to your channel. Whether it's gameplay or if it's VRChat, related. I guess kind of one of the questions I do want to ask in that regard, is there a particular content that you prefer making on the YouTube side of things? Do you prefer kind of the stream edits, or do you prefer, kind of making these VRChat videos? Like, is there one that you prefer over the other, I guess is what I'm saying.
My preferences in my content is bipolar in nature. I'm not bipolar, but my preferences are bipolar. So it always depends on, once again, that spark that I talk about really directs pretty much everything that I do. So usually it's going to be the streams edited down, and I'm very comfortable with that. And then I'll switch over to doing like, for example, the once in a lifetime video called Once in a Lifetime. Not saying like, oh, my once in a lifetime video. No, the video called Once in a Lifetime. Or like the Papers, Please short film or something. The main channel really is like for the big productions. And then I do have a secondary channel where I occasionally upload a random meme or something stupid. That's kind of a ridiculousness canvas. But anything that goes up on the main NanobunTV channel is something that I'm like very proud of, surely. That I feel like is definitely worth watching. And if it's not worth watching, I'll probably be like, that one wasn't that good. I'll private that.
That's fair. Well, I'll say speaking of YouTube channels and stuff. So while you do have your main channel as well as your secondary channel. You also do have some other channels as well that you have involvement in as well, which I mean we already kind of talked about already. So you being one of the three brain cells of the Final Three Brain Cells podcast. So I guess one of the first questions, what made you, John, Code, and Gears Master, what made you guys want to start like a podcast?
So it really began with I wanted to do a podcast, and I needed to find two other people because I knew I wanted it to be a 3-person podcast. I knew I didn't want it to be 2 or 4 people because 2 is too few and 4 is too many. I had watched a podcast before that was 4 people, and I thought it was a bit overwhelming. I watched a podcast before that was 3 people, and I'm like, that's just right. The 3-person podcast, which was the first podcast I ever started watching, rest in peace, it is now ended very recently, is Chuckle Sandwich with Ted Nivison, Jay Schlatt, and Charlie Slimesicle used to be on there, but then he left the show. And then they had Tucker come in as the 3rd person instead. But Chuckle Sandwich was definitely a massive inspiration for me wanting to do a podcast. And then I watched a couple other ones here and there. I watched Sleep Deprived, which was all right, but not the greatest. I'd occasionally watch an episode of The Yard, which I should probably watch more episodes of because it's really good. And I'm sure there's another podcast that I'm forgetting, but it really was all kind of Chuckle Sandwich, kind of giving me the big motivation of like, wow, podcasts are cool. I want to do a podcast because I yap a lot. So let me think of 2 other friends that I'm going to do a podcast with. And John was immediately someone who stood out as someone who I've known for a long time that I wanted to do the show with. And I will go ahead and say, and I've said this on the show as well before, that Gears was actually not my first pick for the 3rd guest, for the 3rd host. It was actually going to be Witchy. However, Gears was kind of absent from my life for about a year for his own personal reasons, and then he came back into my life again, and I was like, shit, right, Gears, you're great. You're going to be the 3rd person on the podcast. So no hard feelings to Witchy. But I was like, holy shit, right, Gears. I've known Gears longer. And him and I also just match energy even more perfectly somehow. So it was just kind of a no-brainer at that point. And the 3 of us, we've been enjoying doing the show. We've uploaded 11 episodes. However, we have recorded about 19 episodes so far, and they are all going to be going up very soon. In fact, guys will probably see there's been a bit of a hiatus for like 5 or 6 months for my own personal reasons and also for logistical reasons, such as editing shit shows and trying to get like an editor hired who can do it consistently because our ADHD sucks at doing editing stuff sometimes. But you guys should probably be seeing the Final Three Brain Cells podcast continuing right around the same time that this video goes up. You'll probably see another new episode there. If you haven't watched it, very binge watchable. Gears and John have both had their mothers watch the show even, and they've even thought it's hilarious. We've had a bunch of our friends watch the show too, at their own volition. Like, we haven't even said, hey, go watch it. They've just watched it completely on their own and also come to us and said, wow, this is great, without us even having to ask. So I feel like that's a pretty good metric of, I think we're doing something right. Even the person who we're having edit the show temporarily right now until our main editor is available again, they've even just found the show hilarious themselves while they're editing it. So if that's not enough motivation to go watch it, I don't know.
Yeah. No, fair. I don't know. I feel like John has definitely at least said something about advertisement at least once or twice, though.
Yeah.
He's a goober like that. Hi, John. I know you're watching this.
Yeah, he loves me. Yeah, he of course he'll watch this episode.
He's probably in the chat over here, being a goober, in the premiere chat. But yeah, that's right. I called you out. Yeah. Now I just gotta get Gears on the podcast, and then I'll have all 3 brain cells.
This is true.
Because we did have John on the podcast, as you were aware of, and he's very goofy about it, because anytime like we talk podcast, he's like, oh yeah, your greatest episode with me in it. I'm like, sure, John. Like
A few hours ago, before we recorded this today, I was actually on call with Gears, as I am very often, and I contemplated, or I joked around with the idea of like, oh yeah, Gears, I should have you in the background of the recording today, just like, kind of like the Jamie of the show, just in the background, that we occasionally like might point to and be like, hey Gears, what are your thoughts?
We'll put him on the barrel behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll put him like right there. And he'll just his ADHD is terrible, just like mine. He'll just probably be like scrolling Twitter or something on the side, and then we'll like chime over to him and be like, hey, what are your thoughts? And he'll be like, what? Huh? Yeah, balls.
Yeah. It sounds about right. Definitely, yeah. I mean, there's definitely a good few episodes over there that I've listened to. If you haven't watched Final 3 Brain Cells or listened to it on the platforms, definitely go check it out. Ironically enough, it is one of the it's also one of the partnered ones on Spotify side. So you should, if you're on Spotify, if you go, I think it's on the
Spotify.
bottom. It should show 2 featured podcasts outside of my own, and I do have Metaverse Degen and Final 3 Brain Cells. So make sure to go check them out.
Nice. Yeah. We also have, I think on the sponsored ones for our show, I think I also have yours listed there too.
Yeah.
A little bit of cross promotion. I'm sure that'll happen anyways, because again, you guys should definitely check out Final 3 Brain Cells, because Noved is going to be on there very soon. So probably within a month from this episode coming out. Definitely.
We're gonna knock on wood on that.
Knock on wood, yeah. If the timeline works, which it should, but we're also working on nano time here, so we don't know what that means.
True. Yeah, valid. Yeah, I would say it's kind of crazy, because not only are you doing all of this, world and, podcasting and content creation, and you are doing the whole streaming, but as you had mentioned in the beginning, you are also making like 3D IRL assets that people can buy. So what kind of made you want to go down that pun? This pun was not intended, I promise. Well, but what made you want to go down that rabbit hole?
So, for the 3D printing, it actually began with a hobby that I didn't know I was going to like. But one of my relatives, who was not necessarily the greatest person, but they cared a lot about me, which is nice. And they're no longer with us, but I will give them a brief shout out, at least, in the sense that they did get me for Christmas one year a 3D printer, and I had no idea that was going to be a hobby that I take with me for many years to come. So from there, and it would have never been something that I would have gotten like for myself. I feel like it definitely only fell into my hands because of that. So from there, I kind of just 3D printed a little bit here and there, kind of fell out of fashion with it, and then I bought a slightly better model of a 3D printer. The original one I had was an Ender 3, and then I bought myself an Ender 3 V2, version 2, sometime later. And with that one, I decided, okay, I'm going to get my return on investment this time. I'm going to make something, and I'm going to sell it. I'm going to do, like, making a product and shipping it worldwide, and that's going to be, like, my new hyperfixation that I'm going to spend a bunch of time on. And I first off chose to make, 3D printed, like, butterfly knives, but, like, not sharp ones, because you can't carry a butterfly knife. That's illegal. So that was cool for a while, but then the big hitter after that, and the one that I'm definitely very proud of, and I still do to this day, is the one that I showed off at the start of the show, which was the custom VRChat name tags, which look like the name tag that floats above your head in VRChat that you may know, but it is actually a physical product with your name and your profile picture on it that you order from me, and I custom make it and I ship it worldwide. And it goes on a lanyard. I've had many people wear theirs to TwitchCon. I've met people at TwitchCon last year who were wearing the name tag that I made them like a couple months prior, and it was really cool. Of like, oh hey, there's that name tag that you're wearing now that I had on my desk that I was working on like a couple months ago, and that's really cool. That's just like awesome. That like, yeah, I saw that little thing. I was working on that a while ago, and then I shipped it off, never to see it again, and now I'm seeing it again, and you're wearing it. It's cool.
My child.
Yeah, there it is. And then it goes away again. I'll never see it again.
Yeah, so I actually did.
But I got my money for it.
I do have a question on those. I know this is probably even more of a niche. So obviously with VRChat, right, the nameplates have changed over the years. So one of the questions I wanted to ask you particularly, have you ever thought about doing like the retro like nameplates?
Ooh.
For those?
As much as I would want to, I would have to whip up another 3D design, which I'm not a 3D designer. The fact that I was able to whip up a 3D model for the current name tag is a miracle in of itself. I used a mix of fudging around with Blender, having no idea what I'm doing, and barely making it through, and then going into Tinkercad, of all fucking programs, which is a terrible program to use, and is for fucking babies, but somehow managed to come out of both of those programs alive with something that functions, but I'm not a 3D designer. I would have to make a 3D design for the old name tag, and that would be a nightmare. And I don't think there's really a market for it, because it is definitely very niche, being the old name tag.
It is. I feel like you'd be able to find
also,
some people who'd be interested in it, though.
On top of that, the old name tag, definitely, like, the whole middle part of it is transparent, so that doesn't really work when you 3D print it.
Make it green.
And it's slightly less personalizable because there's nowhere to put a profile picture, because back in the day there wasn't VRChat Plus. There was nowhere to put a profile pic on the left side of the name tag. So I like to have as many customization options as possible with everything that I make. With all the products that I sell, I like to have variations and options and personalizability to everything. And part of that definitely involves the fact that with the name tags, you can pick the color for the plastic, and the color for the text, and the text itself, and the little text below it, and the profile picture. I like to have all those options available because I want people to be able to have exactly what they want. And with an old name tag like that, it'd just be like, oh, you can pick the color and the text.
Yeah. I feel like
it's kind of a philosophy that I go by, is just options, options, options. Sometimes an overwhelming amount of options.
Fair.
But then you make a Google form so people can't mess it up. Then you just give people a drop-down list, and then it's easy again. I found out that actually has been easy. One little thing I found out about while I was selling I've been selling these, is I used to take those details through direct messages. I'd ask, like, hey, here's a list of things I need, and people would still kind of mess it up and, like, not give me all the details, or they'd give me the details incorrectly. Then I thought, why didn't I think of this sooner? Let me just make a Google form with drop-down lists of the exact options that are available. You literally can't fuck it up.
Wow.
So a little tidbit for anyone who's considering getting into that space. If you're going to do all those customization options, do something like a Google form where you literally cannot mess it up.
No, absolutely. I mean, Google Forms are still, they're great, don't get me wrong, but people will still find a way
I'm
to mess
sure
it
you
up.
can rant. I'm sure, as you were saying before the show, I'm sure there's a lot you can rant about with Google Forms right now, with all the stuff you're working on.
It's not Google Forms' fault. It's not Google Forms' fault. I promise.
Yeah,
it's not Google Forms' fault. So I guess, because you also do make other products as well, besides the butterfly knife and the name tags. I know you had also made, if I remember correctly, because my brain is deciding not to work all of a sudden. But you also do
It was a long list.
yeah. Well, also you also make 3D printed wall switches and toggles as well. So I guess kind of out of curiosity, because a lot of those aren't as frequent in worlds nowadays, especially with like the personal mirrors now. Um, Out of curiosity, like how often do you get requests for those? Out of curiosity.
I think I've only ever gotten about 2 or 3 in total ever. I think, and honestly, they might have all been from Dolrod, who is another podcaster that I think you might know, in the VRChat space. And honestly, not many people have gotten the wall switches. They've not been as popular as the name tags, but that's all right because sometimes you have a hit and sometimes you have a miss.
Yeah, it'd be like that with all sides of everything.
And that's totally fine.
You'll have a viral thing and you'll have a not so viral thing. It happens. But yeah, that's the elongated list. I'm trying to make sure I hit everything. Because
there was some other things that I sell too. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, because you also do like, you also do stickers, as you mentioned earlier. You do have, I believe, the last thing I remember seeing, brain work with me, not against me. I know you also do like the little floppy disk,
The legacy media. There you go.
Yeah, the legacy media stuff. Brain stopped working. It's been a long day. Funny enough, before we shot this episode, there was a tornado watch, which hit like apparently like 5 miles down. So that was fun.
Yeah, this episode was like 3 hours delayed, but it's fine because I got to go watch episodes 1 and 2 of Invincible with my sibling.
To be fair, it was more like
I got to introduce them to the show.
It was also like 2 weeks.
Oh yeah,
delayed
right.
Too.
That's true. We did kind of cancel like once or twice.
Yeah, like you had an issue, then I had an issue. This is a long time coming. To be fair, this episode's been a long time coming. Even before that, I've just been super busy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Very
Weekly
busy
episodes.
time for you right now.
Yeah. Y'all better go to Project Fest 2025. I'm gonna say that right now. If y'all better go. A lot of work has been put in this year.
He's working hard on it.
Yeah, a lot of work has been put in this year. Plus the secret October event, which has more information coming out probably after Project Fest. You'll have to wait and see. There's your tease. There's your tease for the October event that you all see in my Discord. You'll just have to wait and see. It's going to be probably the biggest event that I've ever done inside of VRChat, like outside of Project Fest. So that's all I can say. 2-day whole 2-day event, but yeah, more details later. But while you are making all of this, these 3D assets, all the content creation, the Twitch streaming side, which I did actually miss one, which I'll go into here, because you did mention it in the beginning. You are also a part of Nakama Vibes stream team as well. So kind of to go into that a little bit, what kind of started Nakama Vibes, and I guess for the general listening audience, kind of explain more in depth what exactly is Nakama Vibes.
So Nakama Vibes is a VTuber stream team, and more so a family of VTubers, very tight-knit. We help each other out a lot, getting each other on our feet and everything. So that's why I consider it definitely a family, but in terms of the public eye, definitely it's like a team, a VTuber stream team. We initially, I would say... I kind of call myself like the second front man of the thing, but it is a team effort, definitely. But I also do put a lot of work into it in terms of what you see public facing, like the website, which may or may not still be actually up by now or not. And like Twitter posts are usually set up by me and stuff. But Witchy is my good friend who is the founder of the team, and him and I and everyone else have worked together to make this a team of VTubers that specifically has tried to stray away from and learn from the mistakes of VTuber teams in the past, which is teams such as, for example, dump teams, where there's a bunch of people on a stream team that don't stream together and don't interact with each other, but they're just all technically on a quote-unquote team, if you even want to call it that. Or learning from mistakes of other VRChat-centric stream teams that I won't mention because that would be a little bit rude, but ones where there have been internal drama that then has leaked to be external drama in the public eye, and stuff where just people don't see eye to eye on things. We've tried to learn from all the mistakes of the other teams and try to be the best team that we possibly can be. We've been very, very picky with who exactly we let in the team to make sure everyone's vetted and a perfect fit. There have been plenty of people who we've wanted to add but couldn't for one reason or another. The pickiness, though, has definitely been for the benefit of the team and for the overall health, because if you want things to be successful in that, if you want things to be successful with a group of people that needs to be tight-knit, then you need to be really specific with who exactly you let in and who is a part of it, which is unfortunate because there's plenty of people that I would love to have them on the team, but for one reason or another, they would not be a perfect fit because this part of their personality or this part of, like, maybe they have beef with, like, one of the other people on the team or something like that. So it is definitely a very passionate project that we've been working on for quite a long time. We've been featured in the VRChat New Year's World twice up on the billboards, which is absolutely incredible. I don't even know why we got in twice. The second year, they said, please don't submit stuff that's been in previous years. We want new content, please. So I don't know why the fuck we got in. I'll be completely honest there. Very, very surprised on that one. But we've had some really good years. We've had some good content, and we are still going strong, I feel like. And there's only more collabs. It's mainly collabs that we do. We do a lot of stuff behind the scenes that is not necessarily shown to the public. We do a lot of gaming together and a lot of things together. But in terms of what's seen publicly, there's also plenty of collaborative streams that we do together, including a lot that are in the works right now. And it has just been a really, really great time, and I'm really happy and proud to be a part of it.
Hell yeah. Well, that's what's up. Ironically enough, this is kind of a tangent question because we are running a little bit out of time. Actually, I didn't realize how far we've been going for time.
I bet. That's the only thing I've been thinking about that like every 5 minutes. I'm like, holy shit, this is gonna be a long one.
Yeah, but post editor, good luck. So
it's actually, I'm sorry. I'm a yapster.
It's all good. So it is a tangent question, but speaking of VTubers and stuff, because this is a topical question right now. Granted, it won't be as topical when this episode comes out, but I am actually curious on your thoughts on it. So obviously, one of the biggest things with VTubers right now, we have the whole Hololive situation with Gura happening. The graduation of Gura. Out of curiosity, like, what do you think about the whole thing?
I'm happy to not be a part of a VTuber organization. I'm happy to own myself, and I feel like it is unfortunate that some people just, for one reason or another, have to or have just chosen by their own volition to be a part of these organizations where you don't have full creative control. It is a bit difficult, but my outlook on it is sometimes a lot of people's livelihoods are very different. Sometimes people have to take deals because they need the money or for some other reason, or sometimes they want maybe an easier way into the space where if you're owned by this organization that you're backed by, then it's kind of like how with game dev, if you have a publisher, then your game is probably going to be pushed to more people because the publisher handles all the marketing for you, instead of being an indie dev. With VTubing and VTuber organizations, it's kind of the same thing. So there is also that aspect of it. But yeah, some people just have to take these deals, and some people choose to take these deals, and that's all fine. And I fucking hate when a company goes a direction that you don't like it to go. I know that has just been happening with so many companies as of late. I know another one, not a VTuber organization, but something I was just listening to today. Another company that's going down the shitter is, I think, Synology is what it's called. They make NAS devices, network attached storage, where it's just like a drive bay where you just stick a bunch of hard drives into it, and it's just like a box with a bunch of hard drives in it, a big like storage thing. And they've gone down the shitter. They're like, no, we're going to do proprietary drives now, and you have to use our drives, otherwise you get less features and stupid stuff like that. And there's a million other examples that I can give, and it's like, can't these companies just maybe, I don't know, not? A lot of the time it's due to shareholders too, and don't even get me started on that stuff.
Yeah,
don't even get me started on shareholders. I'm glad that a lot of great things that we have are not controlled by shareholders yet. I'm glad that, for example, the platform that we're in right now is not controlled by shareholders. I'm glad that VRChat is still a privately owned company with some private investments, but not necessarily a publicly traded company, because a lot of people say that, oh, it's not the fact that it's a publicly traded company that's the problem, but it kind of is a lot of the time the problem. As people want to kind of say not, it really is a lot of the time actually due to shareholders and stuff kind of making these changes that ultimately are not great for the people involved. And then you have people like Gura, who's now leaving because of issues with management. So
yeah,
it's unfortunate.
yeah. Well, I guess kind of to go into one of the final questions before we do all the outro stuff. Because obviously you've done a lot when it comes to pretty much everything you can when it comes to the VRChat platform. So I guess
so much so I've almost started to, not to cut you off, but almost started to get burnt out of it. I haven't been on VRChat as much as I have. I still consider myself a part of the community, and I stay in the loop of everything. I just haven't had much of a reason to actually put on my headset and get in. But then I'll be in like for the show, and I'll probably spend my next couple hours on VRChat though. Once I have a reason to get in, then I'm in here and I'm having a great time.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess kind of to ask one final question in the regards of you doing everything, what is one piece of advice that you can give for somebody who's wanting to do things in VRChat, and like create things and kind of, become a part of the VRChat community in the sense of being a creator or a content creator, either or both, whatever the case may be.
As I said a couple times during the show about brain chemicals, it depends a lot on exactly just the make and model of your brain and how you work exactly. So my advice is definitely not a one size fits all, but I think it's going to be a one size fits most, which is find a source of inspiration. Find something that you like and that you maybe wants to copy or take inspiration from, or even just a vague idea, or just something to get you going. And then from there, you can, of course, make your own ideas and make your own creations. But if you find it difficult to get your foot in the door, then I see no issue in going ahead and finding something else that's similar that you care a lot about, or that you find really interesting, and working on something related to or similar to that. And then from there, the rest is history. You have your foot in the door, you have experience in making something, even if you don't make it public, even if it doesn't pop off, even if you just shelf it and throw it away after working on it halfway through or something. It's still something that you worked on, and then from there, the rest is history, and you can make new ideas, you could draw inspiration from more things, and I think it's definitely the one size fits most for trying to get your foot in the door. And there's many other things you can do as well. You don't have to take my advice on that, but it definitely is a good example if you're struggling to get your foot into doing this kind of stuff, or kind of a lot of stuff in general. I feel like that advice can be used for most creative outlets in life. Not most things, but definitely most creative outlets. Anything where you're making something.
No, absolutely. Full hardly agree on that. Well, I'll say technically before we end off the episode, I do want to give you a chance to kind of tell the listeners and watchers where they can find you, all the links you want on screen in the description, all that fun stuff. Yeah, take it away. Tell them where they can find you.
Well, if you're interested in content creation stuff, I'm live usually multiple times a week on Twitch. There's also a bunch of videos on my YouTube channel that, if it exists on my YouTube channel, it's probably worth a watch. I don't upload stuff if it's not worth it. I have a pretty high standard of what I upload nowadays. Or if you're interested in potentially some of the products that I sell, some knickknacks, some stickers, some personalized stuff, then you can go over to NanobunTV. That's the website, NanobunTV. It's a pretty easy to remember link. Specifically, NanobunTV/shop is where you can find that stuff. Or if you want to find links to literally just everything that I do, and then you want to branch off from there, NanobunTV. That's about that. Makes it nice and easy, instead of like nanobuntv.com or something. Only downside is a .tv domain costs like $35 a year. Meanwhile, a .com only costs like $10 a year, so it's a bit pricey. But it works. I didn't even know when I was making my username that, like, oh shit, there is a .tv domain extension. That's the thing. I can make a good website out of that.
No, for sure. Well, Nano, thank you so much for coming on. This is a
My
fantastic
pleasure.
time. My post editor might hate me at this point because I'm pretty sure we're about to hit it. We might have
I
just
knew this one was going to be long.
we might have just surpassed my longest
I didn't want to say it, but I didn't want to say it, but I knew this was going to probably be one of your longest episodes.
Fair. But yeah, all the links will be down in the description. Make sure to go check all those out. But with that, ladies, gentlemen, everybody inside and outside the ballpark, that has been it for episode 63. Yes. Of the Noved Notes podcast. I want to thank you all so much for watching, listening, depending on what platform you're on. If you are coming back to see some of the other episodes, why not hit that subscribe button or follow button, depending on whichever platform you're on. Comment down below, what is your favorite part about Nanobun's channel? I don't know. I try to come up with a funny question. We've been at this for over an hour and a half. That's the quiz.
That's the quiz.
Do you know Nanobun?
If something.
Yeah, if you don't know Nano, go check out Nano stuff. Come back to this comment section. Comment down below what exactly your favorite part about Nano's channel is.
I'm sure you can find something. Something that you'll like. Or your money back, except no, you're not getting your money back. I'm sure you can find something of mine that you like, though. I'm genuinely certain.
Of course. But of course, I want to thank you all one last time for watching and listening. I think that's everything for the outro. My brain is kind of fried, but
it's late. It's almost midnight to wrap this up.
Yeah, right. I will see you in the next episode. Take care and peace.
Bye-bye.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Noved Notes.